It's an absolute scorcher of a day, and what a week I've had. I've got so much to tell you about, and I'm gonna have to do a good catch up on this video today and tell you everything that's happened from Malvern to what I'm doing today, which I'm going over to reskin Johnny's polytunnel. Now, Johnny's got one of those normal polytunnels that had the green cover over it. He took over a plot and that was in disrepair. So he's bought the first tunnel cover. We're gonna attempt to cover a normal bog standard polytunnel with this cover, make some new frames, cover it over. So that's going to be done in a minute. So I'm going to show you all that as well. But before that, I want to tell you what else has been going on this week. So sadly, some of the overwintering onions, and what a shock, is the red onions. They've gone to seed. So they'll be taken out. I also planted a pile of lettuces in between these as well. But sadly, due to all the influxes in weather, and the fact that they normally do that as well, the red onions from overwintering have gone to seed, so I need to pull them out and I can use that space for something else. But the tulips have also finished now at the front. They had a good go at that, they had a good go. They had a flush for a good 6 weeks and I was really pleased with them. But they need to come out of the bed now. I've seen a few other gardeners take out the bulbs and let them then go back into their dormant state, on the side of your plot in a bucket or something. So I'm going to attempt that this year so that I can use that bed then for other things like salads and the next crop that's going out. So that needs to be done today. What else? The asparagus. The asparagus now has gone so big, the ferns, that I need to tie it up today. So I'm going to get that done today as well, because you do want those ferns now to be nice and strong all over summer, gain as much energy, putting it back into the crown. And hopefully next year I can be able to harvest some of the fresh asparagus at the start of spring. So that needs to be done today. So there is loads of jobs. What else have happened? Carla came to visit. My friend Carla, who I went and showed you my allotment, she came over. She nabbed way too many plants from me, but I can never say no to her. So she took over a nice pile of goodies as well from my plot so that she can use on hers. That was done. What else? Oh, the beans. So these are the beans that I direct sowed. And as you can see, they're doing pretty well. So out of the 20 that I sowed, 19 have come up, which is perfect. They're direct sowed. Look how strong they look as well. So they're up. I've taken the net off this now as well. Allium leaf miner now, that season's gone over a bit. There is a one later on, so be prepared for that. But the elephant garlic has got some scapes coming, which I can harvest them today. They're looking grand. So are the shallots. These are the asparagus that I was telling you about. They need to be done as well. They need to be all tied up. What else? All the potatoes now in the buckets are starting to surface, which is looking grand. Most of them now are up. There's quite a few tulip petals on them as well, but they'll rot into the soil. But yeah, everything's now, this warm weather is starting to push everything up. The potatoes are up, great. These now have all had its day. They've got one little hanging tulip here that's hanging on. Take off the seed heads, like I said. Yeah, these are going to seed. We've got some of these lovely flowers that have come in late after everything else. But this bed is also going to become free soon, so that's great. That's 2 beds I've got free. Some more tulips are coming. Look at these. These are absolutely beautiful. Also, we've got some poached eggplants and the alliums now. The alliums are coming into their display, and the giant ones, look, they're ready. They're not going to be long now. Also, I mentioned last week that there's been issues with having no water on this side of the allotment. So I went out, bought myself a new hose pipe to join onto this hose pipe that I've got, and it was just long enough. I run it across the whole allotment site. I managed to fill up one of my barrels and then one of them inside the polytunnel as well. So I've got 2 of them now. That should be enough. Plus it rained the last couple of days, so the one attached to the shed is now full of water. So I've got a little bit of water now to tick on, but this hot weather is making the plants thirstier and thirstier. So make sure that you give them that good amount of water now. They're desperate for it. Most of the ochre now is coming up, as you can see. There's one up the back there that hasn't come up, but that's okay. I've got a spare one that I could pour in if it doesn't come up, and then we'll go across the other bed. The salads, God, look at the lettuces now. I'm going to take a harvest of these today. This is going to be my tea for sure. This is absolutely beautiful. The pond area needs a few more plants, but the foxgloves are now bedding in really nice. The ferns are coming out from all that rain, they're loving it. I've got some spare ferns here in a bucket that I need to plant, but the pond area is looking really, really good. I'm really pleased with it. The carrots which I've put inside here, I use some hoops, put a bit of environment mesh over, and I've also then put elastic around the bottom, and that should keep the carrot root fly out of those. And they're looking grand, they're looking really good in there. Old compost, sieved. There's a couple of weeds in it that I've noticed that I'll have to pick out, but overall I'm pleased with our germination. The beans that I gambled with, they've had a couple of nibbles off some slugs, but they're starting to climb up these now really well. I'm really pleased with these beans that I've put out. So hopefully, beans in early summer. So I've also purchased more compost, 4 big bags of the bagged manure, and also 4 bags of the Q4 compost. So that's going to go over because I've had a little bit of work at my front garden. So I think I'll explain the jobs that I've already done so far. So I'll start off with my front courtyard. I decided that I wanted to put a nice salad garden over as well. Granted, I've got the plot, but I wanted to have over there a little quick harvest every now and again in summer. If it's raining a little bit, I wanted to have an area over there that I could just go in, grab a couple of bush tomatoes, grab a couple of spring onions, some salad, some beetroot and things like that that I can just quickly put on the plate rather than coming over the plot. It could be raining, and then I decided I wanted like a trug or something. I wanted it raised off the floor because the dogs, I didn't want them digging in it, I didn't want them weeing on it, so I wanted it raised off the ground. Quick crop, thank you so much. They sent me a beautiful veg trug, and I'm not even joking you, I'm over the moon with it. So let me show you what I've done so far.
Hey darling, can I tell you what's been on my mind? Sick and tired of the 9 to 5 in the city life. Hey darling, we could get out of town, see the beautiful world around, wanna see it now. Pack our bags and get in that car, leave a little note and we'll drive real far. Let's get out, we can leave this city, let's drive to the open air. Yeah, the countryside is so pretty, with the wind blowing in your hair. We can look back someday, baby, don't you understand that we only get one life? I wanna make it count, honey, come on now and take my hand. Hey darling, I love it when it's me and you, on the road with a couple of tunes in a car for 2. Darling, you know we're gonna have a really good time, driving in the middle of the night when the stars are bright. Pack our bags and get in that car, leave a little note and we'll drive real far. Let's get out, we can leave this city, let's drive to the open. Yeah, the countryside is so pretty, with the wind blowing in your hair. We can look back someday, baby, don't you understand that we only get one life? I wanna make it count, honey, come on now and take my hand.
Isn't it beautiful? So thank you so much, Quick Crop. I put a link in the description for the veg trug that they sell on their site. So thank you so much for sending that over. It looks absolutely beautiful. I'm going to give updates on it as well. I'm going to plant it up as well. Hopefully tomorrow we shall see. But thank you so much, Quick Crop, for sending me that. It honestly has made my life so much easier. I'm going to go over this evening or tomorrow as well and take the compost over, fill up that, and then I've got a nice area there then where I can put some house tomatoes and latar tomatoes as well. They're really short tomato varieties. Put a few baby gem lettuces in and things like that, little gems. Baby gem? Little gems. and some spring onions and things, and it'll be good to go. You know, having that little space as well. So if you haven't got an allotment or a big garden, a veg trug is perfect. And if you have noticed on mine, I had a cover as well. So I had the cover come with it so that I can keep the humidity when I'm starting them off, and also, you know, just keep it protected from the ailments as well. So in late winter as well, I'll use it again. I'll put some winter crops in there, like some Swedes and things. And yeah, so I will use it all the time, but the cover is perfect for keeping those pests off. So thank you so much again, Quick Crop, for sending me that. So yeah, like I said, if you haven't got a big garden or you haven't got an allotment, but you want to grow some veg and all, why not think of a veg trug? You know, I'll put a link, like I said, for Quick Crops, veg trug in the description, but it's perfect. It's perfect if you've got like a little small courtyard or a little terrace and you've just got a small garden. There's no excuse why you couldn't grow some nice fresh salads or some vegetables. And it's raised off the ground as well, and it's at a nice height as well. So if you have, you know, got issues with walking or bending down, it's perfect. It's perfect. It's the perfect height for digging into it and getting your hands dirty and enjoying what we all love doing, gardening. So while I'm sat down, I thought I'd discuss, there's a pigeon in the pond. Anyway, moving on. So I thought I'd discuss, we went to Malvern last Sunday. It was absolute manic. I wanted to show you loads and loads of the show gardens, loads of the displays, loads of the stalls. Did I do it? No. I got to the bar, I got to the cider bar. 4 pints later, I decided it was probably the wrong idea, that I was going down the wrong path. So we carried on with the day. It was lovely to see people like Freddie, Claire, Jane, Steve, Nigel, Tony was with me. Am I missing anyone? Oh, Amia was there. Kerry from Dog on the Plot was there. Nanu and Grinch. Oh God, if I forgot anyone now, they're going to kill me. If I have, I'm going to put them around you. Who else have I forgot? Nick's allotment was there. Katie from Lavenders and Leek, but she's obviously called, she's got a new channel, which I'll put a link to her channel as well, because I bought a beautiful old-fashioned bath, tin bath. I think it's aluminium actually, no, tin maybe. And I've decided I was going to bring it over the plot and make it into a new pond, but I loved it that much. I've decided I'm going to put it in my front courtyard where the veg trug is, and I can have some water there, some trickling water out in that front garden. But it was absolutely beautiful. Katie's at Malvern every year. She used to obviously have Lavenders and Leek, I've mentioned her before, and now she buys and sells antique garden furniture, trugs, you know, old-fashioned tools, things like that, and it's absolutely beautiful. I'll put a link to her website in the description as well. But we had so much fun, honestly. It was really nice just to see people that you normally see on a YouTube channel, or you just chat on lives, or, you know, via text messages and things. It was nice just to catch up with them, have some lunch. I bought Steve Digwell his pint back. He then bought me another pint back because he wanted me to be in debt. It was an absolute fantastic day. So we're going to go again in autumn. So if any of you want to come along on the Sunday one. That's where all the YouTubers come. And it was so nice to meet some actual viewers as well. And granted, a few of you screamed my name across the marquees. That was lovely. Scared me a little bit because I wasn't expecting it. But it was nice that I took 40 dibbers and I only come back with, I think, about 4 dibbers. I did force Steve Digwell to have one, and Kerry and the dog on the plot, she was begging. She was absolutely begging for a dibber. She really was, you know, she's a huge fan.
Okay. Are you alright?
I'm alright now.
That's the kids' play area.
Jane, you gonna give a wave?
Granddaughter Layla.
Only took you like...
behind there. You were casually not looking. Have a look, Kerry. Oh, hi, hi. Jane, say hi. Right, so before I go over to Johnny's polytunnel and get that sorted, I want to take off all the seed heads off the tulips. Now, I've talked about this before. Take off the seed heads of the tulips and the daffodils. Take them all off because you don't want them to go to seed. You want the energy to be used in the bulb so that they might come back next year. So I'm going to take all them off and then head over, recover Johnny's polytunnel, and then come back and get some things done here. Let's go. What a job and a half that was, but it was actually really fun. We've left it now where Johnny can do the window at the back and the doors. It wasn't as bad. We used trenching method, but we also put some battens around as well, around to just strengthen it up, but it looked really great. So I'm sure Johnny will have so much fun having a polytunnel that not only is clear, so we've got a lot more sun, but he can now grow tomatoes in there, and I can have my space back in the polytunnel. So the next job is this water feature. Now this barrel here, it doesn't seem to be holding the water as well as I hoped. So I've been using it just to keep my Swede in here. There was a bit of water in the bottom and that there's been watering these while I've been away. But today I'm gonna line this and then staple it around, trim it all off. And then hopefully this will be nice and waterproof then as well. So let's get it done. So I bought a small amount of pond liner. It's quite thick rubber and hopefully that'll be plenty for that little water feature there as well. So at least then I know that the water's not going to be wasted because at the moment water is very precious because it either rains or pours or it's like a desert. You just cannot get the weather to sit right at the moment, can you? We're either having heat waves like this or it's tipping down with rain with grey skies and thunderstorms. So let's get this job done. Now I've ordered 2.5 meters by 2.5 meters. I think that's more than enough for this, but I wanted to make sure that I had enough for the depth as well. So, and this was the smallest one, I think. So I've got myself a craft knife, Stanley knife, and also some staples as well. So I want to staple gun this around the sides, and hopefully we can fill this up and then it'll be working again. Because if you haven't noticed, the Swedes looks great. I had them in there hiding as well from, you know, the butterflies as well. So I had a little net over it and everything. But today, I'm hoping we can get this working again. And I don't know how I'm going to do it, but I'm sure I will. Now, if you haven't noticed already, I love trickling water in a garden, at my allotment, my back garden, my front garden, both plots. They've all got water in them, and I just think it's such a nice background noise, not only when you're gardening, but also when you're filming as well. It's just nice to have that nice trickle of water in the background. I think I've ordered more than enough. Way more than I need. Now I won't cut this off straight away because, or staple it actually, I've decided I'm going to fill it first, let it settle, just like I did with the pond. Most people do a pond and then they cut around the sides and then the soil underneath settles, but then the line has been dragged in more. So the best thing to do if you've got a pond or a water feature is to fill it up in there and let it settle for a few hours before you trim it off, because trust me, that water will push all the sides out into all the little cracks and stuff. So my little tip is just to not cut it for at least a few hours, preferably the next day. So let's get this done. Now it rained the last couple of days as well, so I've got this full of rainwater, and the good thing about this water feature is it not only I use it to plunk my watering can in, it also can get filled up by rainwater. This is also used to collect water as well, and it's a water feature. It collects water, and also use it to collect my watering can as well. And also on top of that, it's a nice little feature in the plot as well to have some trickling water in as well. So it's got many functions, this thing, so I'm really pleased with it. I really am. So I've cut up most of the excess now, and I leave this now until it's full right to the top, and I can push in with my hands as well to make sure all the cracks and crevices, because you don't want them as well, because that's a perfect place for slugs to live as well. So make sure it's as tight as it can, and whatever you do, do not staple down in the middle and all, because obviously water will come out, because I had a friend who did that once, and no, it wasn't me. Right, let's leave that to fill. So I've got some really exciting news to tell you, but I cannot tell you yet, but I promise you it's a game changer for the channel. I'm really excited for this news. I don't know why I'm telling you this, because it's like a bit of a teaser, and like I got a secret but I don't want to tell you, but big changes are happening on the channel, and yeah, I'm sure you're all going to be absolutely thrilled with what's coming. Right, so while that's filling up at the back, I think I'm in desperate need of tying up the asparagus ferns, so let's get that done. Another job. It's warm. It's a warm one. So I bought some more of those trays for underneath the container-wise module trays, and most of them have got them now, but I noticed a few of them were drying out because I've just not been able to water them enough. And while they're in the polytunnel growing, I've just bottom watered a bit, so I've collected another 5 or 6. I'm going to pop them under now, some of the trays, and yeah, at least they won't dry out, and that's the worst thing you want, is because the roots then dry out and it's a nightmare. And I know that's probably sounding like an excuse, but it's just either been the high or the low, you know, of gardening, and it's either tipping down with rain all day or it's boiling hot, and neither's good. So I'm gonna have to find maybe an evening to come over, and hopefully tomorrow night it'll be a little bit cooler in the evenings, and I can come over and just plot it, you know, plod on for an hour or two without the camera on and get most of the plants out. But yeah, there is always highs and lows of allotment life, and finding the right day to plant out, and finding the right day to sow, and finding the right day to do all these things, and then add on top a YouTube channel is tough. It's tough sometimes because there's certain days you want to do certain jobs, and if the weather's not playing game, you're in the polytunnel again, and then that's a sowing day or sorting out the polytunnel day. So yeah, and then trying to fit it all in a week while you're working and then getting a video out for Sunday is a tough gig sometimes, but would I have it any other way? Absolutely not. So speaking of the highs and lows of gardening, one other thing as well is that you get the highs like planting out, finding more nature on your plot like birds and things, and then there's the lows, the maintenance, the weeding, the watering, slugs, moles. We won't go on to moles. I don't want to rant about moles because I've not had no mole issue all spring. We're halfway through now and nothing. Am I going to jinx myself? Probably. But no mole issue this year so far. I don't want them to know that I'm saying this. I tell you what, I want to say that I'd be glad when I go home today, because there's been so many little jobs, you know. But I got jobs to do over there when I get back as well, like the Trug. But yeah, I'm just going to have a sit down for a couple of seconds. Appreciate all the things that are growing now. There isn't much slug damage this year either. I don't know why, but slugs and moles are leaving me alone so far. But it'll all change. I'll be stressing about moles before we know it, I'm sure. But if you have been watching my videos for a while, last year, moles, they were my biggest headache and nemesis on this plot. But fingers crossed, they've moved on. Oh, also, I've got a video coming out soon as well about, if you remember, my plot got broken into, not just my plot, everyone's plots. But I've got more security coming, so I'm really excited to show you that video. But basically, I've got myself a new camera that's been sent to me. It's absolutely amazing. You can film sunsets, sunrises. It identifies certain animals on your plot, and it'll notify you, like hedgehog found on the plot. We probably won't say hedgehog on the plot, but you know what I mean. It'll just say hedgehog identified or whatnot. It's really clever, and not only that, it can push notifications to me. It's connected to its own little SIM card, so it doesn't have to connect to Wi-Fi. And I just think it's going to be a game changer for the nature on the plot as well, because I'll be able to access the footage from home rather than me coming over and having to download it and stuff. But yeah, I'm excited to show you that video, and it looks absolutely fantastic. I'm really happy that they've seen my video about me having the break-in, and they've sent me this product. And yes, I'm really excited to show you that. It'll be coming up probably in the next week or so, but we shall see. But yeah, so if you've got an allotment and you're worried about, you know, security or monitoring it, or even if just for the plus sides, sometimes you're at work, you're in the office, and you just think, I wonder what the plot's doing. So you can just log on your phone, have a little look, and you can see your glorious work. So I returned home after a lovely day at the allotment, and then I decided I needed to fill up the veg trug. It's now full up with, at the bottom I put some perlite in to give it some good drainage. On top of that I give it some nice well rotted rich manure in sacks, and then on top of that I give it some nice compost as well. So there's a good amount of nutrient in this bed, and I'm absolutely thrilled. So the next plan is to plant it up. I've got some plants I'm going to put in now, which is perfect, but I'm absolutely over the moon that this is another growing space that I can show you, you know, going forward, another growing space that I've got. So yeah, I'm really pleased with it, that I've got this nice little salad garden in my front courtyard. I've got a herb garden next to it, which I'm going to plant up as well with mints, parsleys, coriander, things like that as well, like lemon balm as well that I can use for teas. So it'll all be planted up probably in the next video, and hopefully you'll enjoy what I've done in this front courtyard. I'm Danny and this is Grower.